Monday, and you know what that means. It's IndyCar night on iRacing. Hello again, everyone. I am Gary Gonzo, and welcome to Race First coverage of Round 2 of the Season 4 of 2022 of the Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split, coming to you from the Legacy Kentucky Speedway. As always, joining me in the booth for expert analysis from the NHR Esports team in the Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by Bud Kicker is Steven Larkamp, and also joining us for part-time coverage this season of the Indy Fixed Top Split. He is a regular participant in the IIS. He used to drive NASCAR, but we refuse to hold that against him. Please welcome Justin Petschauer. So guys, we're right back to where we all started about 1 year ago here on Race First, but this time we're here at Legacy, Kentucky. So for those who don't know, what are the major differences between the two scans?
Well, Kentucky Speedway, one of the things that will immediately stand out with the old configuration, it's a lot wider. This was, of course, the track as it was built in the early 2000s. It's a very wide track surface, and it's a bit flatter in some areas, and a bit flatter in the banking in the corners in some regards. But the main difference, of course, is that the banking is different from each end of the speedway on the new version. On this one, the banking is all the same. So the drivers are going to be fighting pretty much the same sort of conditions that they will on either end of the speedway here, as quite a few drivers I'm seeing finding it hard to manage on both ends already in qualifying. I see Brandon Trost going around on the front straightaway. But Kentucky Speedway in its old configuration was, of course, the ones that IndyCar used to race on, and it was lauded for having really close side-by-side action, kind of similar to what we saw at tracks like Chicagoland Speedway, until it unfortunately was taken off the calendar after the 2011 season. And since that time, NASCAR had made the place home, at least for a little while, until it was dropped as well. But in that time, the banking in 1 and 2 was made different from that of 3 and 4. In a way, kind of a reverse Texas. What you saw at Texas Motor Speedway. They flattened 1 and 2 while keeping 3 and 4 the same. In this case, they upped the banking in 1 and 2. They upped the banking in 1 and 2, I believe. Yep. And they made the 3 and 4 the same, but also they made the track surface narrower. So it's a bit harder to get that side-by-sides action here. That, I think, is going to be one of the big advantages we're going to see here at Kentucky tonight. I think it's going to be a lot more fun.
Yeah, Stevie, that's the one thing that the drivers are definitely going to have to make sure of, that they're going to be they are going to have to make sure that they get their mindset out of the new Kentucky and bring it back to the old Kentucky, where they have so much room in 1 and 2 to try and make a pass around the outside. But dirty air will be in effect here in traffic, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see how these guys manage the dirty air behind another car to make sure that they don't screw up and run into the guy up ahead of them and cause a major issue.
Indeed, and this track, of course, a lot of tracks here in the IndyCar, you're going to have to be fighting the dreaded aero push. A lot of drivers are going to be looking for the clean air as much as they possibly can, give themselves as much grip in the middle of the corner. Let's see what they can work at tonight. I think tonight with Legacy Kentucky, I think Legacy Kentucky is generally more well liked than the new version, especially among IndyCar drivers. I think we're all in accordance with that. And I think it's going to be another textbook example of how good old Kentucky is. So we're getting ready for some really good side-by-side drama here in the Bluegrass State.
And the old Kentucky home, 40 seconds remaining here in qualifying, provisionally on the pole. Panero with a 2:16.5. Your track record here at Kentucky set by IndyCar. Sarah Fisher back in 2002 with a speed of 221.390 still holds the track record here. The IndyCar career wins leader here at Kentucky are held by a couple of IndyCar and Indy 500 champions. Buddy Lazier and Sam Hornish each have 2 wins here. But as mentioned, this is the same configuration that IndyCar raced here up until about 2011 with. And we are going to have ourselves a full field tonight, 26 cars.
Very, very exciting to see a full field here. I believe it was 3 splits that went off here tonight for the first race of the week. This is the ones we usually cover. So getting ready for it, and everyone is clocked in. Pace car is lined up on pit road, getting ready for the start. And on the pole tonight, the number 1 of Adriano Pinero, once again still lightning fast as he usually is. Alongside him, Adriano Fraporti in the number 7, a very good qualifying effort from a driver who's had quite a few struggles as of late. Trey Shadid starts 3rd, a fantastic qualifying effort for him in the number 5. He will start alongside the 9 of Dakota DeMade. Chris Wilhite, the leader and sadly the loser last week out at Las Vegas on fuel mileage. He starts his number 2 machine in 5th. He'll be alongside Alexandre Gon's number 8. PDF, Pablo Diaz-Francis in the number 3, a very fast guy. Watch out for him from P7. Alongside him, Alan Morea in the number 18. Peter Kubowski's number 6 will start off 9th, and rounding up the top 10, the winner last time out at Las Vegas and the defending series champion, Mark Murphy. Going down to row 6, Rafael Eckert's number 24. He's got some work to do from usually a very fast qualifier. He'll start alongside DL Lemon's number 22. Zach Spritzer's number 16 will start 13th, and he'll be alongside Ryan Eric King, friend of the show, of course, in the number 26 machine. Stephen Lee, who finished 2nd last time out of Las Vegas, he'll start his 13 machine in 15th position. Alongside him, Matt Mercer's number 14. Vito Sousa in the number 20 will start alongside Bruno Romanzini, 17th and 18th. Rounding out the top 20 will be Frank Irwin Jr.'s number 17 and Brandon Trost in the number 10. James Kennedy's number 23 will start 21st, alongside the boss man, Matt Houston's number 11. Rodrigo Franzoni way down the order there. Something must have gone desperately wrong in qualifying tonight, because he was the pole sitter last time out at Las Vegas and usually a very fast qualifier, but he'll start 23rd in his number 15. He'll be alongside the first of the non-qualifiers, that's Garrett Thompson in the number 12. And rounding out the final row of the grid, Jeff Murray in the number 21 and Cody Eldred in the number 25 makes up 26 cars that will tackle 75 laps at Kentucky Speedway just outside of Cincinnati.
And they are starting to roll off the grid here, or pit road, the grid is.
Yeah. Yeah, there's always interesting to see where iRacing puts the cars when they grid up their slots. Some of them put them on the front straightaway, some of them put them on the back straightaway, especially if it's on road courses. Some of them put it on pit road. It's always interesting to see where you start. Probably a bit more fitting to start them on pit road, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, and we got some interesting liveries out there today. Let's take a look at Peter Kubowski there in the Barbie car.
That was a scheme I was looking forward to seeing last time out of Las Vegas, but didn't make it too far in that race. Well, let's see if being wrapped in plastic is indeed fantastic for Peter Kubowski.
Let's go
tonight.
back to Garrett Thompson there in the Delphi Dallara, made famous there by Scott Sharp, as we're getting ready to go green.
Pinero bringing him down slow, gets on the throttle, green flag flies, gets a great jump for Porty, tucks in the line behind him ahead of Trey Shadid, who's going to be under pressure with Dakota DeMade looking to the high side. Chris Wilhite looking down low into turn 1. Wilhite, great launch from him. He's gotten around DeMade. Here comes PDF, and we're going making it 3 wide down the back straightaway. PDF down low. He's going to be trying to get that clean air way down the low side, and he clears both of them. But it is going to be Pinero leading at the end of lap 1.
Yeah, he took no wasted time on that start.
Yeah, you see a couple guys up there going to the high line near the wall to stay out of the dirty air. But of course, it's going to be interesting to see what these guys can do, because some are going to go down to the low line, some are going to run the high line and come out of turn 4.
Once again, it's that game of find the clean air, and unfortunately, one of the losers in that game so far is Dakota DeMade. He's dropped back from 4th to 7th, but meanwhile up ahead, Trey Shadid going, look at this, zooming around the outside of PDF.
Yeah, that high line is the way to go right now.
Looking like it so far, especially with cars in front of you. Chris Wilhite in front of him, hugging that low side. Pinero, though, getting himself up to a very good gap over for Porty, who's kind of settled into a rhythm right now. The gap about 0.7 of a second.
Oh, PDF. Oh, I don't know if he had a little arrow push or was just looking for the grip strip up there, but he went way high. Still manages to hold his position going in the 3. We're going right behind them, following suit. Alan Marrero there in that shiny red and black Dallara right behind him. Then Dakota DeMay down at P8. The Barbie car has worked its way up to 9th, and Eckert now in the 10th.
Eckert already up 1 spot. Kubuski maintaining position from where he started, and now he's got Dakota DeMay in his sights. Ooh, Eckert pushes way up high, almost into the wall there off of 2.
Yeah, but that allowed Mark Murphy to get the run and the position on him. Murphy now into the top 10.
Exactly the sort of stuff Murphy needs to get himself good points in the championship. This is one of his best chances to gain it.
Yeah, he's going to do everything he can. He's going to try and save his tires, because tire wear is definitely another factor to take into account here at Old Kentucky, as you want to try and save the tires as best you can while still trying to get towards the front and avoid any chaos that'll happen here. But so far, these guys are spread out as best they can, taking into account the dirty air in traffic, which I can tell is pretty bad right now, but they're managing it somehow.
Yeah, it's certainly looking like it. We're not exactly seeing side-by-side action here tonight. It may well be the package that they're running is not really allowing them to do so. As I'm looking at Murphy starting to close up on the back of that number 6 of Kubuski, and Kubuski's looking to close up on Dakota DeMay. This battle for 8th looking to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, not a lot of big gainers going on right now. Most everyone is made up just a couple spots. Your big gainer right now, let's go back to 19th. Franzoni right there running out low line through turns 1 and 2. He is your big gainer, only up 4 spots. Beyond that, he's going to get another spot here on Trost.
Franzoni to the inside of Brandon Trost, but he's got Romanzini's dirty air to work with here. But I'm not entirely shocked that Franzoni is going to be working his way up to the field like this. We've seen him week in and week out. He is a lightning fast qualifier. He's not used to starting this far back, so I would imagine he is going to be in go mode to pick up as many spots as he possibly can.
The Corinthian Bred King team, of course. 3 cars in the lineup here tonight. Pinero in first, followed by Ragon in 6th, and then their other teammate here in the top split in 18th, and that is their particular lineup right now. A number of the big squads are in the lineup tonight, as we watch them complete 10 of 75. Hey, real quick, just before we get into the opening of the pit windows here and everything, would it surprise you that only 51% of you that are watching tonight are not subscribers? Well, we need you to desperately change that. Let's change that now. Help us on our drive to 1,000 subscribers. If you enjoy Race First coverage of the Monday Night Indy Fix Top Split and you respect the weekly stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. We have less than 70 subscribers to go to get to the magical 1,000 mark, so help us by hitting that subscribe button right now. Make that button red, make it gray. We can't get there without you, and while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on more future iRacing broadcasts here on Race First. And now let's get back into it here in the Bluegrass State.
Looking at PDF up to P4, and now he's up to P3. Look at this double pass by Pablo Diaz-Francis up to P3 around both Shadid and Wilhite. PDF on the charge.
Yeah, I was just about to interject there, but I was going to let Gary finish out the mention of the subscription there. But we had a hell of a battle here. I mean, just look at PDF picking his way through. He's slicing his way through that dirty air. He's making so much use of that high line there through 1 and 2, but he goes down towards the low line in 3 and 4. He knows how to get around here, and he's doing it the only way he can.
Masterful stuff so far from PDF. Always a really strong driver, and now he's got Adriano Verporti in front of him. Maybe not the guy he expected to see this far up front, and maybe something he'd be a bit leery of racing with, given a few, shall we say, moments in the past. But for Porty, hats off to him so far. I'm not meaning to denigrate him on that one. He is doing very good right now. Started second, currently running second, and making a good effort to hold PDF at bay. But right now, that number 3 is looking like he is a strong contender tonight, at the very least for a podium. And now, as I say it, Chris Wilhite starting to creep himself back into that frame.
Yeah, another thing to also take into account, these guys do have the availability of using their in-car adjustment tools, the front ARB, the rear ARB, as well as the weight tracker. So I guarantee you a number of these guys, example PDF here, using those to their advantage, as we see Chris Wilhite with a huge run off of the bottom of 3 and 4. PDF slams the door shut temporarily, but look at Will Hite. He's making a run now on the inside, but he hits that dirty air spot, and he's going to have to succeed that charge and fall in behind PDF here.
Oh, PDF going slowly in 3 and 4. What has happened to PDF? What happened there? Now
he doesn't look like he's under power. Now he's locked up on pit road and done.
Something has gone terribly wrong with PDF, no doubt.
It must have had some type of equipment failure or something.
That looks the most likely to me, because that did not look like he didn't touch the wall. I think something may have failed on his end. Maybe as now he's getting himself back underway. He avoids going on to pit road and avoids a penalty, but already 1 lap down. But so that unfortunately is probably going to be game, set, and match for PDF after all that good hard work. What has happened there? I have no idea, but I feel terrible in that instance.
Guys, I'm gonna put it simple. I think that was the commentator's jinx right there that we all just did, talking about how good of a run he had.
What is it with me doing that as of late? I swear I'm like that. I swear sometimes I'm a pretty bad example of the commentator's curse. I'm a walking commentator's curse, aren't I? But anyway, that battle for second now, it's for Porty versus Will Hite. Will Hite starting to close up a little bit on him now.
Oh, look at this battle between 8th, 9th, and 10th. A group of 4 cars just going at each other, throwing haymakers, even though they're separated by a good time. Oh, caution is out of the front. We have a wreck on the front here.
Wrecking on the front straight away.
James Kennedy and the camo car there. 2 cars at least involved in this one. Let's go back in the Wayback Machine. Looks like DL Lemon might be the 2nd car involved. And let's take a look here. What happened from a racing point of view here.
Yeah, Kennedy looks like.
Yeah, looks like he clipped the apron there, going underneath DL Lemon and just lost control of the car there, washed up. Oh yeah, he went below the yellow line, washed up, lost all control of the car, hit DL Lemon. DL Lemon tried to save it, overcorrected it into James Kennedy, who hit a hard hit on the outside retaining wall there on the front stretch. First caution of the race is out. Gary?
Yeah, and that's where we developed the old phrase, apron bad, when we get that wheel down there. And now we're in a very interesting situation, guys, because the window really is not open for another 2 or 3 laps. We are pretty close to actually going to the end if we don't have another caution. Oh, there we see for Porty kind of forcing Will Hite over there onto the, yeah, that's kind of, wow.
At the very least, in the pit stalls, you can still ghost through the cars, as we just saw there. You can ghost through these guys when you're actually going through your pit stalls, but that's some aggressive defense on pit road from Porty as they hit their boxes.
Now, in some leagues, that is actually against league rules to do that. They make you go all the way to the right and come over like 5 spots before and Will Hite is going to just get close, but not quite. So Will Hite wanting to get by. Now, another thing here, coming off of caution, off of pit road here in caution, the pit out here, look how narrow that is, right there against the yellow line, up against the wall. Very little room for air there, and it is slippery down there.
Yeah, if there's one thing I've never really been a fan of at Kentucky, is that pit exit.
Oh, even in the Cup car here, the IS ran here, it was a very narrow exit that you literally had to get as close as you could to the wall.
And getting a report from the chat, actually, from PDF, it was a pedal failure that caused the downfall of his run here tonight. He is still running 1 lap down, but he's saying that something went wrong with his pedals.
And he kind of got screwed by Trost because Trost stayed out, and he picks up the lead, and no wave around for PDF this time. And now look at Brandon. Look where he's doing. Look where he's circulating under caution, under that yellow line on the apron. This is the absolute shortest way around this racetrack. He is maximizing fuel save there by making sure that his car travels the shortest amount of distance possible around this 1.5-mile speedway.
And it is a very effective tactic from what I've seen. It is something that it is legit. You don't get penalized for it. And when you're trying to save as much fuel as possible, you naturally want to go as short a distance while maintaining the same speed. You use the aprons and the access roads for it. The best example I can think of is, of course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You use the warm-up lanes
there you go.
to shorten your go around the track there.
Yeah, and that's exactly. I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I will toot my own horn here because on Saturday, after our coverage of the Indy Open Series Strength of Field, I popped on over to Race First, and a lot of those guys were in the middle of a race on the Velocity Online Racing Series, and they were having their Indy 500, and a couple of the teammates that we see in here, Tommy Geisler, Matt Houston, who else we also see occasionally, Shane Coogan. They, of course, were in that race, and I was helping spot them, and it came down to just that type of strategy, saving fuel on the low side of the racetrack, because they were coming down the checkered flag. Nick DeGroot was the leader. He sputtered at the end, and the cautions leading up to the white flag lap. I was telling the Tommy, who won actually, Thomas Geisler won. I'm like, stay low, clutch and coast, stay low, clutch and coast, and he finished. And as soon as he crossed the finish line, he ran out of fuel. So it was just enough to win the Indy 500K there for Velocity Online Racing Series. So it is a proven strategy. It works. But we're getting ready to go back green here on lap 25. And really, if you can make it a full fuel run between now and the end of the race, you don't have to stop again. But it's going to be close for some of these guys.
Maybe a bit of what-ifism here, but what if Chris Wilhite did that exact same strategy under caution last time out at Las Vegas? Maybe he wouldn't have sputtered coming to the checkered flag and lost the race to Mark Murphy.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. I know, exactly. It makes you go back. Makes you think about that. You know, what if Herta didn't tell Rossi to clutch and coast as much as during that 16 race? So, well, the
I
field
was there for it, so I would agree. As pace car peels off, it's Brandon Trost. A driver we're not used to seeing here on the Monday Night Show, but a longtime IndyCar racer on iRacing, way down the apron as he takes the green.
He's an apron down there. Nice. Again, the apron is in bounds. You can use it if you want to.
You can, but many would consider that to be a bold play. Brandon Trost leading away well, goes defensive down the middle there as he's trying to throw PDF, who's a lap down still. He is trying to work his way around him. I'm sure he's fuming that Trost is not pitted and given that lead lap back as Pinero goes around the outside. And now he's going to run down Trost on fresh tires. As PDF, once again, looking at that high side there, he's, I don't think he's too happy about the circumstance he's in right now.
Oh, yeah, you saw it too. Pinero pushed way high on the exit of 2.
Error 404, grip on exit not found for Adriano Pinero. Gonna have to find the tool setting to get himself the way it was before, as they're both way down the apron.
Now we're using the apron again. So Trost has identified that the apron is open for business, and other people are going to use it.
Yeah, it's actually not something you see too much at Kentucky, except in qualifying, or if you're going hard at it towards the checkered flag. But now, as Pinero has gotten around PDF, look at him closing right back up on that number 10. Those fresh tires are really helping him right now as he looks at the high side in 1. Not quite enough, though, as now Pinero, he's going to have to draft into 3. Looks down low, side by side there. Trost trying to pinch him. Ooh, side by side, a little bit of push there. Trost way up high, gets forced up on that high line there, still holding it side by side. Pinero across the stripe, 16 1/1000ths of a second at the line there, and now Pinero's going to have that low side. Can Trost shoot by on that high side, which seems to be the preferred?
He's going to Trost in the wall, Trost in the wall, Trost in the wall.
Not coming down yet, staying up there while everyone else goes by. Will this be a caution?
As long as he stays up there along the wall moving, I think he's going to be okay.
He's close to pit road. He could probably get down there if everybody goes by. But that is game over for Brandon Trost. That right front suspension is gone on that number 10.
Yeah, that's not stopping for that pit stop to get new tires and then racing a car that has 20 lap younger tires. That makes all the difference in the world. In the meantime, that has allowed Pinero to open up about a second lead over for Porty, who is currently still kind of battling PDF.
Yeah, it's in one way I don't blame PDF for doing this, but another, like, if you're in a position to, for Porty, as Trace did, looks down to the low side there. Very close stuff. But if I'm in for Porty, Shadid, or Will Height's position, I do not like that PDF is hanging around out there, throwing the air over and throwing the air off my wings. For Porty, now down to the low side there, is side by side with PDF. PDF is going to get the run on the high side, though. That high line does have the momentum working for him.
Well, I'm not going to short PDF because PDF can actually see the leader right in front of him. And if he could get around for Porty and then somehow get a draft to Pinero, exactly. he can work his way back onto the lead lap. If he was 5-6 cars back and still doing this, then maybe I'd be like, okay, maybe this guy needs to take a break. But the leader's right there, and I mean he just needs to get his lap back, and that's it.
Exactly, and this is why in this instance, for right now, I don't blame PDF for doing this. He has a chance as he sees it to get back on the lead lap. He's going to seize it with both hands if he possibly can. And right now behind him, Will Height looking down low on Shadid. This is for P3. And Will Height got the run there, but Shadid now kind of boxed out going into 3, and he's going to have PDF's air to work with, or work around, I guess would be more proper.
And look how Shadid moves up, and man, if you could slide a piece of paper in between those two, good thing Netcode didn't take over.
That would have been horrible if Netcode struck. Very close stuff there as Trace Shadid puts PDF behind him, and look who's closing up behind him and behind Murphy. PDF right now. It's Shadid's teammate, Mark Murphy.
Yeah, defending champion of the Indy Fix Series last season, Division 1. He is up 5 spots. Another big gainer is Franzoni. Let's check back on him. He is up 11 spots now to 12th as he is on Stephen Lee's 6 at the moment.
Quiet but very methodical right now.
Yeah, he's doing everything he can. He's trying to figure out how to get by him. If I wasn't talking much, I had my hands, both of my hands on top of my head, just watching all the insane battles that were going on, especially the contact between Trost and PDF there. This is insane racing, but this is the kind of action you would expect with IndyCar racing on a 1.5 mile, especially on an old surface like Kentucky Speedway.
Look at the different lines that these cars can go through. I mean, there's at least 3-4 different lines at times that these guys are going. Yep.
Garrett, look at this. Look at Chris Willey. He's got to run on the high side there, side by side. He's going to try and use that high line to get around. It's going to be a bit of a battle, though. Oh, they wash up, almost make contact, but Will Height looks like he's going to clear him and up to, I believe, second place there.
Yeah, he's moved up to P2.
Beautifully done by Will Height. Started 5th, now running 2nd. This is the kind of run he needs to get some redemption for last week at Las Vegas. Maybe he can run down PDF and get the win that he could have had but lost out on right at the end due to low fuel. But for Porty, he's definitely not going to take that lion down. No, sir.
There we got Ryan Eric King checking in the chat a little while ago. He goes, I'm just hoping to finish. And there is Ryan Eric King right there in the Axalta Gradient car there that he typically drives in Indy Fix races. Of course, he is our broadcast partner on the Wednesday night coverage of the Revolution Indy League Schaefer IndyCar Series. He's my broadcast partner there, and he's hopped in the car tonight to do a little Indy Fixed. But you can normally check him out on the Motorsport 101 podcast, and you can also check him out at jalopnik.com on the weekends.
Always great to see our friends out here racing tonight. Same can be said for Dakota DeMade and, of course, the boss man, Matt Houston. We always have always love to see our friends do well out there as caution is out.
Trying to find out who we got in the wall.
I'm hearing PDF is not happy about someone right now.
Oh, it was P7.
And, oh, yes, it was. It was Rafael Eckert running 7th, center on into the wall, and Dakota DeMade is collected.
Yeah, Dakota.
Oh, goodness.
I'm looking at this. It looks like
and we're gone in it, too.
PDF was not aware, and it looks like he came down onto Rafael Eckert and brought out this most recent caution here.
It's hop on board Dakota, and let's do the do the line right along with Dakota and find out what happened here.
Yeah, Dakota DeMay just looked like an innocent bystander in that incident. Very unfortunate stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, just very unfortunate stuff. I'm not sure DeMay knew what was entirely going on there, but PDF, as I'm seeing down in the chat, he is not too pleased with that sort of racing that Eckert was putting on him. Wouldn't you say, Justin?
Yeah, radio communication was picked up, and Pablo came over and said, "How to destroy your own race, volume 4,323."
That classic sarcasm. Well, not really sarcasm. That classic, deadpan jokes. As we got more cars coming on the pit road. Look at this, Wilhite jumps Pinero on the pit stops.
We're missing that right now. We're watching more replays of the incident. Yeah, it's oof.
Very unfortunate stuff, but this was the sort of thing I think that Chris Wilhite was probably looking for. They come in, they've all put on fresh tires. That's just how much of a concern tire wear is tonight, it seems. Just like last week at Las Vegas, Kentucky seems to be eating up tires like nobody's business.
This is going to be their last set.
That is going to be their last set. Yeah, they only have 2 sets of tires they can change onto. They came in for 1 earlier. This is it. These are the tires they're going to run to lap 75. And Wilhite has got himself the best position in the house right now.
Well, it looks like as a result. Now, interesting. Pablo Diaz-Francis brought out. He was involved in that caution. I don't know what wave around. I don't know what the wave around rule is for IndyCar. If you cause the caution, do you get the wave around? But he is trying to get the wave around here. We will see. But right behind him, Frenzoni decides to stay out, as well as Ryan Eric King. So 2 cars for track position, and then Pablo Diaz-Francis hoping to get the wave around, even though that he was involved in contact, which brought out the caution. Now, Justin, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not much of a NASCAR viewer. If you're a NASCAR guy and you do not get the lucky dog if you cause the caution. Now, this is IndyCar, where there's the wave around rule, and I don't know if that is part of the rule or not. So we're going to see here relatively soon if PDF is going to get the wave around or not, because of him causing his own caution.
Yeah, with the NIS, if you are the first car lap down and you cause a caution, you will lose the lucky dog, and it'll actually go to the second car that is 1 or more laps down. Now, with this one, I think he'll still get the wave around because he's ahead of he stayed out of the leader.
Right. And IndyCar rules say that now this is if it don't involve contact that I know of, but IndyCar, the leader always brings the field back to restart for IndyCar. So if there are lap cars in front of the leader, they will get what is called the wave around, which is effectively like a lucky dog. And there he goes. So that's answering our question right there. So he fortunately brought out his own caution, kind of. Not quite, but was involved there, and he's going to get the wave around, and he's going to get back now on the lead lap, and he can cycle all the way back down back behind who is I believe is Jeff Murray here for P20, and he will now be able to try to march back through this field and get back up at the front here with what limited time we have left.
One big question mark for me right now, it has to do with the 2 leaders. That's Rodrigo Frenzoni and Ryan Eric King. They both stayed out under this yellow. Everybody behind them pitted. They're on fresh tires. How well are they going to hold up against the hard-charging guys on fresh?
Well, we saw what happened with Trost, and I don't want to see that happen again, but these guys might be banking on another caution, and the fact that they have another set of tires in the pits that they can use in a last lap or a late race dash to storm to the front if they have to. But field is under the command of Franzoni, up 22 spots. Did not have the greatest qualification, but he is banking on track position and the aero push to help maintain his spot in the field right now, coming to green, and we are underway here again, coming to lap 46.
Great start for Franzoni. Ryan Eric King left in the dust. Will Height takes advantage immediately. He looks down to the low side into one. Will Height gets it done pretty quickly, and Pinero, is Pinero going to follow suit? Side by side through two? Yes, he does. And Ryan Eric King, he said before he just wants to finish this race, so I get the feeling he's not going to be as aggressive with defending his position if he's got that mentality, if he's sticking with that mentality at the very least. But Will Height and Pinero now running down Franzoni for the race lead. Franzoni, usually a very fast driver, but he's got old tires to worry about, and that's a big factor.
And he has a teammate up there to kind of not help him out, but definitely work with them and not against them if they get up to the lead.
Another thing to also factor in, there's a little bit of cloud cover coming over the track, so it's definitely going to cool the track temperature down just a little bit, especially for the guys that are on old tires. It's going to help them just a little bit to cool their already worn tires down.
Gotcha.
To cool their worn tires down. But, like I said, that dirty air. Oh, there's a battle behind Pinero there. Ooh.
Shadid.
Oh, yeah, look at for Porty taking it around the outside of Ryan Eric King, and look at the stack up behind him. That's Trey Shadid. Mark Murphy now to the outside of his teammate. Murphy and Shadid side by side there. They see Ryan Eric King. Oh, almost some contact there. I'm sure that if they know the situation that Ryan Eric King is in, they're not liking what they're seeing right now. They got to get by him ASAP. Shadid clears him. Murphy clears him. And now Alan Morea stuck right behind Ryan Eric King. He's going to be looking outside. Not quite enough yet. But the two teammates working their way up there. 5th and 6th at the moment.
Yeah, while that's going on, there's a battle for second right now between Pinero and Chris Wilhite. They're just throwing haymakers, swapping positions, but it looks like Chris Wilhite's going to use the better judgment there and just back off and wait until Pinero makes a slight mistake, as we see Chris Wilhite blinking in and out. That's just his connection there, having issues, as we've seen a number of times here on iRacing over the years that service has been in existence.
Yep. Once again, if you're just joining us, you're watching Race First coverage of round 2 of the Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split, coming to you from Legacy Kentucky Speedway, where Rodrigo Franzoni has decided to take some track position and lead late here with about 25 laps to go here at Kentucky. Show your support of Race First. Become a member of our Patreon page today. You can find it at patreon.com/racefirst. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. And we are in for a hot finish here right now, as we got 3 cars all within a second of each other.
Yeah, look up here. He's got the on Rodrigo Franzoni. He's trying to make the run to the outside, but Franzoni knows what he's doing, moving slightly up, kill that. But Pinero is got to run. Here he goes. He's going inside, going in 3. He's going to be able to clear up new leader Adriano Pinero as they come off of turn 4.
Sorry about the audio breaking up. We experienced that on pre-race. That is with Justin's connection, but you could definitely hear the excitement in his voice about that pass attempt right there for the lead, and hopefully that will clear up here before we get too far into the end of this race. But Pinero back to the lead. Now Pinero, the last 2 weeks have not been, or at least last 2 races that we've seen. Now it's the season ender of last season and the first race of this season have not been kind to him. Now we're seeing him in a little bit more of a regular spot that we're used to seeing him up front.
Indeed it is. This is the spot we're used to seeing Pinero. Of course, the season finale at Kansas Speedway, he was wrecked out in an incident on lap 1, and then it was wrecked out in, I believe it was wrecked out in the big one last time out at Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So Pinero not having the smoothest of weeks, but now this is the sort of place where we expect to see him, and honestly, this is the place where we expect to see him in this championship fight, battling it out with the likes of Mark Murphy for the title once more.
And just a check up on Murphy, there he is, right there in that plucked chicken car, as he calls it. I was going to say desert camo until he said actually it's a plucked chicken. But that is P6 there as he's in front of Alan Morera. And then Trey Shadid there in P5. That is Murphy's teammate, cooperative teammate here in these Indy fixed races. He is 5th. For Porty has maintained his kind of a spot in the top 5 all race long here in P4. Chris Wilhite, P3. Franzoni currently still tracking down Pinero. Pinero is your leader here, coming to less than 20 to go.
Lap 58, Pinero still holding on to that lead. Franzoni still hanging around looking at that high side right now. I think Franzoni's game plan here, if he can get the lead, that's fantastic. Of course, he's not going to be... of course, he doesn't want to wreck his good friend and teammate, Adriano Pinero, but they want to work with each other to pull themselves away from Chris Wilhite and give Franzoni as much position as he can to make that big jump from 23rd on the grid to 2nd, to make it pretty much set in stone unless things go tragically wrong.
Yeah, looking for a good I-rating payday.
Very good one. Number 15 car finishing P2. That's going to be quite a lot of I-rating going into your profile there. Pinero, of course, with the number 1. He has the highest rating in the field. Not exactly sure what his number is right now.
Look at this battle for second.
Yeah, Wilhite right there. He looked down to the low side. Not quite enough, though. He had to back out in the middle of the corner. Didn't have the grip. Wilhite. Yeah. Looking everywhere, though. This battle is definitely not over.
Yeah, 2 laps ago, Franzoni almost hit the wall off of 2, and that was enough of a chance for Wilhite to get the run. And look at this, they're still going at it.
It's all you need, really. That slightest loss of momentum gives the guy behind you life. Wilhite looking, sticks his nose to the inside in turn 3. Still side by side. Franzoni up on the high line. He holds him off for now.
Now, we've seen this, and we've probably all experienced this before at this version of Kentucky, especially off of corner number 4. That wall comes up, that exit wall comes up on you really quick, and it like builds up a bubble of air on your right rear. And if you don't sometimes hit the wall, but if you're too much on the weight jacker, sometimes that bubble of air will go ahead and push your car around. We haven't seen that yet, but might we see that in the late phases here as people start racing each other harder and trying to loosen up their car more and more? Like right there, we actually saw Franzoni get a little loose off of 4.
That may well happen because, well, tend to happen is throughout the run, the drivers, especially in the situation where you're dealing with a lot of understeer, you're dealing with a lot of push, the guys will turn the weight jacker up positive. They're going to put more weight jacker into it as Wilhite once again looks down low.
Yeah, that low line with worn tires is not the way to go right now.
Yeah, but putting that weight jacker up more and more as the run goes on, that could facilitate that bubble effect you were talking about before that puts the car in the wall if you get too close. That's something they got to worry about later on in this race, I would think.
Yeah, Wilhite can get even going into the corners, and then on the exit going down the straights, up on the high side, Franzoni's going to get the run. So we'll see what happens. Wilhite now do 3 and 4. Going to stay in the draft. Going to probably get another run. Going to bring him a little bit closer. Not as close as he was last time.
Guys, here's another one.
In for Porty.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't count out Trey Shadid yet. He's enjoying this right here.
Yeah, he's seeing this battle between Franzoni and Wilhite and thinking, how can this benefit me? Oh, Franzoni dives it down low. Almost contact. That was a bonsai charge. As we're coming to 10 laps to go, Rodrigo Franzoni loses out on second place to Chris Wilhite, and now he's going to have for Porty and Shadid to contend with.
Yeah, he lost just a little bit of momentum there, and now he's going to he's got a tag team behind him that very much puts him in a handicap situation where it's 2 versus 1, and these guys are looking at him with fresher tires as they're kind of like fresh meat.
Very much so, as for Porty still holding off Trey Shadid. This is for 4th place, and now they see the car of Franzoni ahead of him on the oldest tires of this lead pack. They see it as a good opportunity to gain a podium out of this, especially for Porty and Shadid if they can make it work.
It says 46 laps on this stint. 46 laps on this stint. Ryan-Eric King's fallen back to P12. He's 43 laps into this current stint. By comparison, these other cars around Franzoni, who just completed 47th lap of this stint, 25 laps into their stints. So that's it's almost a 2-to-1. The car in front of him, that's Garrett Thompson, almost into the wall off the corner 4. He recovers, but that's going to allow everyone to go down low and get by him very safely. So he just stays up high and kept it out of the wall. Good on him.
Good job by Garrett Thompson. Very smart move indeed.
Oh, Rodrigo Franzoni throw the block for Pony there.
Oh.
Porty really trying everything he can here. We're going to be coming to 6 laps to go this time by for Porty, looking everywhere, high, low, wherever he can go. Murphy, meanwhile, side by side with his teammate Trey Shadid. How are they going to play this one?
Well, you know what the rule 1 is about racing your teammate, right? Don't wreck your teammate.
Never wreck your teammate.
Well, like rule 2 is see rule 1.
Look at this, a crossover move. Shadid and Murphy, they're having a bit more fun with this than you would think right now. Murphy up on that high line in 3 and 4. He's going to try and make this happen around his teammate and close up on this battle. He gets it done for Porty. Now closing once again up on the back wing of Franzoni. And to give you an idea, God! Porty's around! They're both around in the wall hard! Caution's out! Is this going to be on the right? More of them! You're going to have to touch this! Was that another car collected?
No, another one!
Porty, don't back up yet! Do not back up yet! Okay. Breathe. Everybody breathe. That was a scary moment, and it's taken both Rodrigo Franzoni and Adriano Porty out of the race right at the end. A podium battle over. What a catastrophe for them.
Yeah, oh man. Frank came in just to avoid hitting Rodrigo and just slammed him on the nose.
Oh. It was just such a close thing. Everybody had to dodge them. Where were the cars around you? Where are they? How am I going to get around them? Unfortunately for a couple of them, didn't quite end up the way it could have. But especially for Franzoni and for Porty, they were battling hard all race long, and unfortunately, it came to catastrophe.
I think Ragon might have been in that or got really close. Let's see. It's following him around.
And so for Porty,
got real close.
Yeah, I believe it was the 14 of Matthew Mercer that made contact with Franzoni after they spun around initially, and Stephen Lee came very close to that too, and Mercer's just sent around.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's the same type of accident that we saw early in the race. Just guys battling hard. One up on the high line goes down low and makes contact. Oh, what?
What?
Somebody got turned under caution.
Wait, really? What happened just now?
I overheard on the radio from Chris Willite that somebody turned him under caution, unless...
Chris Willite?
I see Willite still running in P2, so it wasn't him, it would seem. Not sure what happened there, but...
Unless he was quoting somebody.
Might have been. I'm not exactly certain, but I do see Frank Irwin Jr.'s number 17 sitting on pit road after all of that.
Yeah, Frank Irwin was involved in the wreck in turn 2. We were just watching that, and I don't know what happened there, but
yeah, I think it looks like he made contact with the wrecked car of Franzoni. That was what caused him to end the night there. I actually thought that was Matthew Mercer. Matthew Mercer was also involved in that as well, but Frank Irwin Jr. also involved in this wreck as well, and he actually spun it trying to get into his pit stall. That's just how banged up his car was. So that, unfortunately, is another car. That's 4 at least so far out of the race right at the end. 2 laps to go. This one is going to end under caution, unfortunately.
So it's not the first time that Pinero has won a race under caution, and he definitely manages to do a good job at being out in front of a lot of these issues. Not at the end of last season, but certainly before we've seen him middle of last season, middle of the season before, where he took advantage of some late yellows to get the win. But Will Height now moves to second. Mark Murphy, 2 podiums in 2 weeks. That's not a bad way to start the defense of your title. We almost got... Go ahead.
Yeah, I would agree with that completely. Yep. That worked out perfectly for Mark Murphy in the end there.
Yep.
Started 10th. He's going to finish 3rd.
And we'll almost get Trey Shadid up here into the booth. He's got him 4th. Alan Morera is going to come home 5th. The Barbie car coming home 6th. Very quiet race for Kubuski, but he managed to get a top 10 out of this. Lee threads the needle, coming home 7th. Matt Houston, the boss man, with a top 10. Looks like he is headed to an 8th. Ryan Eric King. Track position is king because he is going to come home 51 laps now on his current stint, so he is going to be the long haul driver of this race, and he is going to finish 9th. And Beto Sousa, another one of the Bread King cars, they had 4 of them in this race actually. Beto Sousa coming home in the 10th spot. His teammate Alexander Ragon right behind him at 11th. Roman Zini, who has been kind of stuck in the mid-pack all race long today, P12. Another car we haven't talked about in the Home Depot Dallara there, Cody Eldred 13th, Jeff Murray 14th, Zach Spreiters 15th, and then the starting of the those that were involved with the wreck. Mercer, I believe, is that the first car that's still maintaining. He has no front wings, but he is still maintaining forward momentum into 16th spot. So. Yeah, a costly incident there, and now we got the leaders coming out of turn 4, getting ready to look at the checkered flag to end this session. And man, it was a lot of action up front, and unfortunately, a lot of these incidents were not single cars; they were taking out multi-cars.
Indeed, a lot of them. A lot of victims of wrecks tonight, but one of them is not Adriano Pinero. He will come across the line. A little bit of a formation finish here. Pinero, a great win for him at Kentucky. Back on the top step of the podium again.
Also want to interject here. The boss man with a quiet race there. Matt Houston starting 22nd and finishing 8th.
Up 14 spots. He's the biggest gainer of the race, actually. So, and he knows I mentioned that stat. So he'll always say, "Did you mention that?" Yeah, I mentioned that stat. I mentioned that stat because he knows that I do that. But let's take a look at today's final results here from Legacy, Kentucky. Adriano Pinero, first win of the season. Chris Wilhite. Hey, actually not a bad start for him. 2 races, 2 podiums. Even though he ran out of gas the first time, he still manages to come home to a podium here. Mark Murphy, 2 for 2 on the podium as well. Trey Shadid, another top 5, P4. Alan Morera, P5. Kubuski, Lee, Houston, King, and Sousa, the remainder of your top 10. Ragon, Roman, Zini, Eldred, Murray, and Spreitzer, your top 15. Moving on to the next page, we did have a 26-car field here, so a big lineup tonight. Mercer, Thompson, Lemon, Francis, Irwin Jr. for 40, Franzoni, Eckert, DeMay, Tross, and Kennedy. All of these, one form or another, was involved in a wreck. Unfortunately, that ended their days early. Some were still going at the end. Mercer was still rolling. So was DL Lemon. So was Pablo Diaz-Francis. So was Garrett Thompson. But the others, unfortunately, were not able to bring their cars home in a rolling state from 20th on down.
We see Chris Wilhite and Mark Murphy jumping in the booth to talk to us about that race, it would seem.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Let's get let's get Mark in here first real quick. And there he goes, number 4 there. And let's bring him on in, shall we?
And I see Ryan Eric King in there too.
Hey, Mark, 2 weeks in a row, 2 podiums. A little bit hairy there at one point. You managed to make your way through some incidents, but I think it's a great start to a defense of a championship.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for any more, can you?
No. Wins maybe, but man, still getting on the podium is a way to start.
Well, and this time we did it without netcode lightning bolts either, and that's always fun. This is one of the favorite tracks for IndyCar, just because you gotta save the tires and be careful in what you're doing. And I was mad that first caution come out because I had saved so much tire. I was ready to be the comer, and there were definitely some goers in front of me.
Yeah, and we were making note of that as well, that you were just kind of taking it easy, that methodical move up through the field, and you were looking good for a top 5, and then that incident happened in front of you with Proporti and Franzoni. Would you say that was something that you were kind of banking on there, or were you surprised when that actually happened?
I wasn't banking on it. I mean, I wanted to pass them, but at the same time, because them guys were driving in so hard and deep that they weren't going to have any tires left. And the flip side of that, though, is when you get two guys that like to weave and juke and block, and you put them next to each other late in the race, there's going to be fireworks. And so that was 100%. That was 100% going to happen. And I saw him hit and I saw him spin, and I said, stay up there, and drove underneath him.
We're kind of pushed for time tonight, but we do want to congratulate you and give you an opportunity to get your shout outs to those watching from home, mom and dad, friends and family. Of course, the Plucked Chicken delivery making an appearance tonight. The microphone's all yours. Go right ahead.
Yeah, hi to mom and dad. Hi to the wonderful Miss Natalie, AJ, Charlotte, and Jacob. Thanks to Black Magic Designs. And yeah, stand on it, kids. Let's keep having fun.
All right. Well, we will see you next week at the improper version of Phoenix.
Yeah.
But congratulations, and enjoy the week, and we'll start looking at points here soon, and finishes like these all matter toward the end. You know that. So we shall see when the points shake out where you are. But I would imagine when points start to matter here a little bit later, you're going to be up near the top. So we'll see you next week. Congratulations, and thanks for stopping in.
Yes, sir. Steve and Gary, y'all have a good night. You hear?
All right, thanks. Let's get Chris Wilhite up here. Hey, Chris, we got you in the booth. Plenty of fuel this time, but a lot of action in front of you. A lot of wheel-to-wheel action, with especially with some cars that might have been a lap down. Didn't really look like they were racing for that position. And then other courses, of course, you had cars that were up there that had used tires that were kind of just holding off because of the aero push. You had quite the battles in front of you with some of those drivers.
Yeah, it was a great race. Fun race. You're right. Some different strategy calls made it interesting. This track has no grip. I mean, you especially on the high line. Most of the time with these cars, if you find clean air up there, you can rip the top a little bit. There's just no grip up there, so it made it a little bit more of a challenge. Had a good run going. Beat Adriano out of the pits, which fired me up, and tried to hold him off, but that guy's so good. He made a real good pass on me, and then I got caught behind Franzoni a little bit. He had the old tires. I knew we'd eventually get them. The tires could hang on for about 25-30 laps, and then they went down, so just kind of bided our time around him, and ended up with a nice P2.
Well, you can't complain, and it's a good start for you for this season. And we're kind of pushed on time. I got to get off to another race myself here this evening, so I don't want to rush you out the door, but I do want to give you an opportunity to definitely give shout-outs to all your team. Of course, IAR, big part of the IndyCar racing community here on iRacing. All your teammates and all your sponsors, and I'm sure you got friends and family that are watching as well. So go right ahead.
Yeah, no problem. We'll be quick here, guys. So shout out to Adriano and Mark. Great podium there. Good points night for us. We're excited. Shout out to IAR, and shout out to you guys at Race First. Just I watched some races this weekend, and I'll be watching this one back. You guys are doing a great job. Thanks for your support.
Hey, we're trying our best, man, but we appreciate your support as well. Congratulations. This time a little less heartbreak. We're not running out of gas, but getting another podium nevertheless. So it's a great start to the season point-wise, And we'll see how this battle trains up between yourself, Adriano, and Mark Murphy as the season unfolds.
I'm excited for it. Looking forward to next week. We'll see you.
All right. Well, guys, we're kind of make it kind of quick here on the wrap-up. Your thoughts of today's race, starting with you, Steven.
Well, tonight at Kentucky, it just showed why Kentucky's one of the more better liked 1.5 mile tracks from what we've seen, especially the old version. The racing we saw here, the track was a challenge in of itself, but it still put on some great side-by-side action. This week at Kentucky was really, really fun. It's really going to be fun to race in. I'm going to be doing some races myself, of course. And from what I saw here, we're looking for a very strong championship battle right now. As we said before, Pinero, Will Height, and Murphy, and others who might join the fray as well. There's really no shortage of talent out there this season. I think we're in for a very fun show next time out at Phoenix, and this is a sign to come for the championship battle ahead. I think this is going to be a very fun season.
Justin.
Wow. Stevie took the words right out of my mouth there.
Yeah, like...
Well, apparently there's nothing to add to it. He's just like, you said it all. Well, I would agree, man. And this is a great race for you to start off your broadcast relationship with us. You'll be joining us part-time throughout the season. We'll see you in a couple weeks. But that's it for tonight. Once again, your podium for Kentucky is Adriano Pinero finishing under caution with the win here. Chris Wilhite and Mark Murphy, the defending champion, with another podium, finishing third today. Join Steven, myself again next week for round 3 of the Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split of Season 4 22, coming to you from the improper version of the Phoenix Raceway. That's right, we just tolerate it. Legacy Phoenix is the way to go, but we just tolerate it. Anyways, coverage begins around 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 8:15 p.m. Eastern. And you can find everything right here at YouTube at youtube.com/racefirst. Hey, we love bringing these races to you, but they're not easy and require time and money to produce. Because of your generosity and donations, we've been able to bring you the last year of the Indy Fixed for free. And if you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and enjoyed our coverage of the Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split, please take time to go visit our GoFundMe page. We are reliant on your donations. And you can, the link is in the description, and you can donate to our Season 4 22 Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split Broadcast Fund. We realize that times are tough, so any contribution will be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and making us a part of your Monday evenings each and every week. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game, well, it's hard enough to say, but it's not an easy game to play. So you can help Race First with the weekly grind and leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of tonight's race. And if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, smash this, support us by smashing like in the video. Thumbs up, especially on some of that racing there that you saw. That was some good close quarters racing. If you're new, click subscribe and why to hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out more of Race First other iRacing programming, including the Race First Formula Indy Series on Tuesdays and the Indy Open Strength of Field on Saturdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, sponsored by Team Watson Racing Setups. So again, let's change that button from red to gray and click the bell. That's the best way. Keep your browser set here for the most in-depth knowledge on all of IndyCar knowledge of all of iRacing. That's Race First. We know what Indy means. For business inquiries to learn more about Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. You can follow all of us via our Twitter handles, and we do not have, unfortunately, Justin's with us, but he is very active on Twitter. What are you on Twitter there, Justin?
J Pet Shower.
J Pet Shower. There you go. We'll get a graphic with your name in it. But there's Race First, myself, and Steven. You can add us all on Twitter today. So for Steven Larkamp, Justin Pat Shower, everyone at Race First, I'm Gary Gonzo saying to all, good night and thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Thanks again. Catch us again next week at the bad version of Phoenix Raceway for round 3 of Season 4 2022 of the Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split. Good night.